Hey y'all, today we are making a yummy buttermilk pie. Okay, so this is a super simple pie, y'all. The first thing you're gonna need is Bisquick. Now, don't go anywhere, trust me on this one. Half a cup of Bisquick, and then you're gonna need 1.5 cups of just regular old white sugar. This recipe, y'all, is super simple. It is very easy to throw together. It takes you see how long the video is. It is super short because it's very easy to just throw together and then bake. Super simple. So half a cup of Bisquick and 1.5 cups of sugar. And then I like to mix that up a little bit because a lot of times Bisquick can get clumpy, and I don't want clumps in this. I don't want lumps and bumps in my buttermilk pie. I want it to be nice and smooth and pretty. So I just like to whisk around a little bit and kind of break up any of those lumps that may be in the Bisquick. So the next thing that you're going to add is vanilla, and I'm almost out of vanilla. I have got to get back to Mexico and get me some vanilla, y'all. So you need a tablespoon of vanilla, and then you're going to need 1 cup of buttermilk. And then we're going to add in 1/3 of a cup of melted butter. And then I go ahead and give this a stir, or a whisk in this case, because I need to add some eggs in, and my butter is hot. So I like to mix the butter in and let that buttermilk cool it down just a little bit so I don't end up with a bowl full of scrambled eggs. You know what I'm saying? We don't want scrambled eggs in our pie, y'all. So once you get your butter kind of mixed in, go ahead and add in 3 eggs. And I'll let my eggs sit out and come to room temperature because a cold egg is sometimes hard to get to mix in. You know, it's just easier to mix them if they're not like just freezing cold out of the refrigerator. So add your 3 eggs in, and then we're going to whisk this up until it is nice and smooth, until you get all that egg good and mixed in. And you can see if you, Lord, I dropped my whisk. That's terrible. I need a bigger whisk. Y'all already know. Let's not talk about it. So just mix it until it's really smooth and all that egg is good and mixed in. You don't see any stringy pieces of egg in there anymore. Okay. Now I need to remind y'all, I am doing a giveaway. You can enter all this month, and the giveaway is going to be on November the 1st. You can find all the details in my family-friendly Halloween treats video, and I'll have that linked down in the description box for y'all. So go over and enter for a chance to win. Okay, now that we've got our filling made, we're going to set that over to the side and get our crust ready. So I got out my pie pan. I think this is a 9-inch pie pan. And I'm going to go ahead and give it just a tiny little bit of cooking spray because I'm always scared stuff is going to stick, so, extra insurance. And then I am using this refrigerated, pre-made pie crust. Now, I'm using the Great Value. You use whatever you want. Now, if you've never used these pie crusts before, make sure that you let your pie crust sit out for a little while. If you try to roll this pie crust out when it's straight out of the refrigerator cold, it'll crack and it'll break. So if you sit it out for a little bit, it's a lot more pliable. It's a lot easier to work with, and then you don't end up with big cracks in your crust. Now, is it going to matter a whole lot right now? Not really, because this is the bottom of our pie. But especially if you were doing a pie that would have a top crust, you would need to use the top crust. Just make sure that you let those sit out and kind of come to room temperature, and they're a lot easier to work with. So what I did, I'm just kind of pressing it down to make sure that my pie crust is touching, the parts of my pie pan, because I don't want it to slip and move when I start pouring in my filling. So now I'm going to go ahead and pour my filling in. And another thing, y'all, for these pie crusts, you don't have to pre-bake these. A lot of pie crust you do. I'm not sure about all refrigerated pie crust, but I know certain kinds of pie crust you do. This one you don't. So just whenever you're making a pie, just check and make sure that your pie crust doesn't need to be pre-baked first. But like I said, super simple. This one does not. So then I'm just going to go ahead and kind of push the edges down a little bit so we don't end up with a lot of burnt crust around the edges. Now, y'all, this recipe comes once again from my brother-in-law. you know, oddly enough, but he is the one who gave me the recipe for the red beans and rice that y'all kind of just went gaga over. Like, everybody really loved it. I got a lot of good comments about that. And this recipe was his mom's recipe. And she was the sweetest lady, y'all. And this pie is just something everybody loves. So I feel really special that he trusted me with his mom's recipe for me to make on my channel and be able to share with y'all. So I hope y'all love it as much as I do. And I hope that I did it justice. I hope that I did Grammy's pie justice. So once you get everything ready, you're going to pop that in the oven and you're going to let it bake for about 55 minutes until it looks just like this. You want it to be nice and golden brown, a little on the browner side, because we had a lot of liquid in it. So we want to make sure that our inside is nice and set up, okay? So ignore my crazy lighting that does what it wants to do. But this is what it should look like, y'all, when it comes out. And then you're just going to let it cool down. And then, you know, before you cut it, it's a lot easier to cut. It doesn't fall apart as easy if you let it kind of sit and let it go ahead and set the rest of the way up. But y'all, this pie is so good. Let me know down in the comments, is buttermilk pie just a southern thing? Do we just do it down here, or is this an all over the world kind of thing? Let me know, because I'm always curious about that. I know, you know, some things are particular or, you know, for certain parts of the country, so I never know. Let me know down in the comments. But that is all I have got for y'all today. I hope y'all love this pie as much as we do, and I will catch y'all on the next one. Bye, y'all.